go ahead and get started. All right, so first of all, I would like to welcome everyone. My name is George Eschnauer. I am a full-time online faculty member here at Ottawa. Been in this role for 3 years, and so what we've been working on kind of behind the scenes with Dr. Caldwell and the faculty development group is a professional development section in the faculty portal, which houses a variation of things that you might need as a faculty member. I did go ahead and mute everyone, so if you have questions or want to jump in, feel free, you'll have to unmute yourself. I also have the chat function up, so if you need to do that, please just let me know. So just to kind of give you some background on this is Dr. Karen Bryson, who did the last training. She heads a faculty development group that's comprised of online faculty members, also some adjuncts, faculty member. And what we do is we kind of talk about how we can further develop our instructors. So during those conversations, we came up with the idea of creating a new section in the portal, and that's what I'm going to share with you all. So it's going to be a very generic, hey, here's what we have in there right now, but I'm very much hoping that by the end of it, you have some ideas of other things that we can put in there that would better serve you all. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So for those of you, if you are just on the phone, you won't be able to see it today, but this is going to be recorded, and then this will be uploaded into the professional development section, okay? All right, so let's jump over here. And what I've done is I've just logged in as myself, and this is basically where you show up as a faculty member when you jump in. So we're just going to go to the faculty tab. And I have a feeling we're all familiar with this process. You know, we have our resources, our handbooks, standards, things like that. We saw where we can also do course attendance. But for us, it's this new professional development tab here. Okay, these two pieces have constantly been here, but this is the new section. And it does have an email address that comes directly to me if you have additions for this section, or if you say, hey, I would like to see a training provided on subject X. So you can email us there. So the only way into this section is right here through the training and development resources area. Okay, and so the way we built it out is we've developed it or divided it into different sections. This first section is just academic research articles, and a lot of this is focused on the online environment. So if there are those of you who come from, say, the Surprise campus or the OU Kansas campus in Ottawa, and you're teaching face-to-face, these ones are probably more for our APEGS online faculty, but we're happy to include that information if you have some impactful articles that you would like in there, and we can develop new sections for, say, face-to-face pedagogy or andragogy. But these are the 6 we came up with that had the most information and what I would say is profound impact on some of the things that we do in the classroom. Also, for the last couple of years, we've been doing these trainings hosted by online faculty members or adjunct faculty members. And so each of those has been recorded and they have been saved right here, okay? And so Todd's recently got a lot of traction because it was on how to facilitate discussions in the classroom. So that whole thing is saved right here. All you have to do is click on it, and it takes you to the YouTube page where it's saved. There's also the accompanying PowerPoint materials right here for each training. If they have one, like for instance, this one with me is not going to have a PowerPoint, but they're listed to correlate with what's up here. Okay. Those should be saved and updated each time we do a training, so we'll keep those in there. One of the things we've been looking at is unifying APA resources, and right now what we have are some handouts. So an APA sample paper, an APA checklist, which is what a lot of us give to our students, and then an APA sample reference. So if we pop this up, what we give our students in writing and critical thinking, for instance, is this little document so they can go through, and students can print this and say, okay, here is what are all my paragraphs indented, are all my in-text citations formatted correctly, Most of the time we know that they're not, but that's what we're here for. So just some basic information. Another piece is added some helpful websites. So we have our library landing page, which is getting better and better. Gloria, our librarian, she has built this page. And so for our students to share this with them is very helpful because we have, again, sample papers that they can look at. There are 2 different videos in here on how to format your APA papers properly, including headers. Again, the checklist that we showed earlier, sample reference page, things like that. There's also the APA quick reference. So it's just some more generic information for students to utilize. So hopefully we can use this as a resource to share with our students. And then we have the Purdue OWL or Online Writing Lab. And then this one I thought was extremely helpful from APA Style themselves. And I've shared some of this with my students, basics on APA's tutorial. Now it does require Flash Player, but once you get this going and uploaded, it's a narrated explanation for our students when it comes to APA. It does take a moment to load up though. But when you go through this, if we give this to our students, again, hopefully they utilize it. There's a lot of great information on how to do everything. Okay. So that's the basics of APA. This looks a little light. It probably is a little light. So hopefully if you have any resources that you think should be included, please let us know. We are happy to put that information in here. Next is reporting documents. So we have our plagiarism or misconduct form. These are very simple. We wanted to centralize all of these, and there's going to be more that get added into this as we continue to centralize some of the things from the registrar's office. So again, we have our reporting documents. This one shows you how to do online attendance. And bear with me, because I think it's going to jump screens. Yep, just a second. So for some of our newer faculty members, this might be helpful for you. It just gives some basic information, and then as you go down, there are some screenshots on what you need to do and why it works. There's the variance between ground and online that's also listed on here, how to handle holidays. So it's just basic information on how to mark, how to properly input attendance. Oops. The other thing, how to enter grades, grade change form. If you need to do these, they're here. We do have a video tutorial on how to enter attendance. It's pretty brief. We created that to show people how to do it. I don't think I probably need to show you that. Okay, so this is our reporting documentation. As I stated, we're going to continue to grow this section as need be. And then right here are the instructor newsletters that Andrea Cook and Joyce were sending out each quarter. So the third quarter one will be coming up. So these are referenced here if you need to go back to anything that's listed in there. And then the final piece that we've included, IDEA resources and tutorials. So with the shift in how we receive our IDEA survey feedback or any of that, we can now individually go in and survey students if you have such a desire on particular assignments. For instance, in quantitative courses, this might be helpful after an exam to see which topics students struggled with the most or where they felt they were most ready to go. So all of that information on how to do it is located here. And I told you this would be short and sweet, and this is pretty much our training and development page. Let's see, back this up. Okay, so back to the first page. So really, that's all we wanted to do today was introduce this section to you and let you know that it's here, and then open it up to a discussion on are there other areas or other topics you would like to see in this. So I will open it up to anyone. Remember, if you're muted, you'll have to unmute yourself.
George, thank you. This is Greg Binder. One comment I would make, first of all, the layout and the material is very helpful and always a great resource. But one thing I might just advise is, for example, and it may be the only example, the grade change form entry gives the email address of the person to whom you might send an email address. And I have found over time that people shift responsibilities within the organization. So keeping those up to date might be a challenge, and it might be nice to have more of a generic email address for which we can send documentation.
Okay, great. Yes, and I will say that I think a lot of that has now fallen to me. So as things update, they usually send those over to me. So we have seen, actually, that grade change form has switched twice in the last week, so I have been responsible for getting that updated. But that is absolutely very important, because yes, like even Joyce is retiring now, and so Dr. Eric Koch is stepping into that role. So yes, I understand that.
And even if your own responsibility should change, then the changes don't get changed.
Right. Yes. I will delegate that out to someone else, hopefully, if anything ever shifts. All right. So make sure. Got that one down. All right, Catherine.
Hi, this is David Cook from Phoenix.
Oh, hi, David.
Hi. Quick question on the information you have on the APA. Is it for our announcements online? Can we use hyperlinks to go to the specific pages that we want for the student, since it's in the faculty area?
Do you mean like for the documentation or the websites that were listed in there?
More so for the specific documents that you have in Blackboard.
What I would, oh, go ahead.
Well, not in Blackboard, but what you showed is here. If I want to do an announcement and I want to encourage them to, review their APA, can I do a hyperlink to a specific page with a specific document?
Not on our faculty portal. It's just going to be for those of us who have access behind the scenes to that. But you could download, say, that checklist and save it to your Jump Drive, and then upload that as a file.
Okay, that's fine.
If you want to use like that APA style website, yeah, you can just open it in the faculty portal and then copy the hyperlink into an announcement if you want. And if you have questions on how to do that, I know we do have a video somewhere on how to do that.
No, I've done that before. That's not a problem. I just wanted to see if I could. Basically, I'll just download the PDFs and upload them to the announcement. That's fine.
Yeah, and that's what I would encourage you to do. Again, I think the mentality behind the faculty development group is just get the resources there and then add or take away whatever we need. Okay, so Catherine, when you mentioned the form to alert for errors, is that the like course checklist before the start of the term that Kareen Olam's team sends out? Okay. Gosh, yeah, I don't want to speak for her or that form. I don't know how she has that formatted. I would encourage you to ask her that because you're right. In some of those sections, it can be a little bit too much. Now, for the video that you mentioned in the chat area, I have a feeling you're probably in an old shell of Blackboard, like an older course. So with those, they probably need to update that to the Flash player, I would think. But we do have some of those courses that we haven't updated in a little bit, so I know that that can be a problem, because I know what you're saying. You just see the literal keyhole there, but there's a video that you should be able to see. If students aren't able to click on that and use it, then that's a whole nother problem. But for the second part of that question, I would reach out to Corrine and ask her what her thoughts are on that, because that's her world.
I have a
George.
question. This is Annie. On the article side, when you showed us, it looked like there are a lot of articles. After a while, it's going to just gets listed. Is it possible we can divide that under or categorize them, have 3 tabs possibly, one for technical, non-technical, and operational?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So you think find more research articles for that would fall under each category?
Yeah, if let's say some faculties we come across some technical articles we want to share with other faculty members, we can just go ahead and upload it under the technical faculty. And if somebody, another faculty who's not technical, who's not covering and teaching technical classes, they don't really have to go and search unless they want to.
That's great.
So the same thing, if I'm looking for some improvement in the operation side of the teaching, I can always go land in the operation tab or category.
Okay.
Look for certain articles.
Okay. And what were those tab titles you came up with again?
I came up with technical, non-technical, and operation.
Okay. Yeah. And so the way that would work is if you had articles that you wanted, you would just email that faculty training at Ottawa, and we would put that in there. So the only people that there's only a few of us that have access to edit this, and so we would have to go that route. But I think that's a great idea. And one of the things we weren't quite sure, the more we release this to everyone, including ground instructors, EMBA, things like that, that we know we're going to have to add in more research that is helpful to the faculty.
Yeah, also if we can do if you can provide a search capability under that articles or keywords.
I would second that. This is Greg Binder in Phoenix. I would second that, a search unit, because no matter how you categorize it, it's not going to work for some situations.
Right. Terry, were you going to say something?
Yeah. By the way, thank you for putting this presentation on. I think this kind of more things like this that we can do is the better we are as a community of learners. I wondered, sometimes it's inconvenient to jump back to the portal, or sometimes it's inconvenient to go back to those articles that I've saved on my hard drive. Is there kind of a Bible you recommend, or a document that I could have in the corner of my desk that would complement the materials and the resources that you're providing?
I think we could come up with one. I don't, I think a lot of people use some variation of like Google Documents to track their master list of important material. But that's definitely something we could look at. Honestly, I've never done that. So if someone has, that would be very helpful to how to organize that for such a large group of instructors.
Yeah, what I'm imagining in my mind is that it's great to have the portal, and that's terrific because it's the environment in which we teach. However, sometimes when you're having those papers and you're going through them and you remember something, it's easy to grab the hard binder or the hard notebook. And back about 10 years ago, there were a number of APA handbooks out there, APA for Dummies or other things that I think, and I probably have them if I dust off my my library here. But sometimes it's nice to have both the electronic resources as well as the hard resources. And so I'm just wondering if maybe back in the archives, there's some recommended document that we could have available, and maybe by a link, we can get the ISBN number, or we could potentially link it to the handbook itself.
Okay. Yeah, I think particularly with APA style, I know they have through that website, let me just look real quick. I know I'm not screen sharing. But I know they sell their book, and I have to imagine that is electronic format as an option.
Well, I appreciate you can just kind of put it in your little notes to see if there's something maybe that we could explore. If others are like me, you know, I'm on the far side or closing in on the sunset. Those hard copies are nice to grab when I'm sitting there in front of a screen.
Okay. Yeah, that's happy to dig into that more to see what we can do.
Thanks.
Thank you, Greg. I will, how will I do that? I'm gonna have to email that link to myself. Okay. That's great. Because that's what we're trying to do, is just basically create a library. Our portal can be a little chunky at times. It is it's not as smooth, but it is very helpful for housing important documents. So if we can, yes, find a way to create a library of materials for you all that doesn't require you to get, you know, take 4 or 5 clicks to get where you need to get. I understand that as well. But working within the portal itself is we're kind of stuck with some of those clicks. But yeah, I will definitely work with Terry and the faculty development group to see what we can come up with. Another idea we had that's not in there right now is it's like a discussion forum, almost like a blog, if you will. We tested this out, and you have to subscribe to the forum, but you get an email every time somebody responds. So while it would facilitate quality discussion, we weren't sure if anyone else thought they would. Is that something you would engage in actively? You know, depending on the various, whatever the topic might be. We wanted to bring that up here to see if people would be interested in that, because it is a lot of work on the backside for us to track that and monitor it. So we weren't sure what people thought about that idea. Anyone?
Yeah, this is Annie. Well, one suggestion I have is, instead of you subscribe, and instead of receiving an email, what if when you log into your portal, there's an icon there that it shows there, you know, X number of new blogs been article, whatever, have been posted. So there's an icon with the number on it, just letting us know that there are new posting in the blog side.
Yes. While I love that idea, again, the portal's a little chunky, and its limitations on things like that, from what we could tell, there was no way other than subscribe or unsubscribe, and every post, like I said, got an email. So we can look at that, and we could see if there's a way to do that, but not to be limiting. But I don't know if that would make its way up IT's must-do list.
Okay.
You know, I think it's a great idea, but that's why I want to mention it, that every time somebody posts, it is an email, and there's no way to do that unless you just say you want to go in there and check it on a weekly basis, and then just don't subscribe, just go in and check it.
Well, as long as there's a notification that there are new postings, then it's up to recipient or the faculty who sees that icon with the number on it. Then they can go check it whenever they want if there's a increase in the posting.
Right.
So let's say I check it, I log into my portal and I don't see any numbers.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to go to that section and check for the posting because I already seen it. But if I see there are 3, then I would know that there are 3 postings, and right away I would go to that section and I'll start looking at for the latest stuff that was posted.
Right. And then Catherine, yes, if we had, say, 4 topics, you could subscribe to just 1. And then for Bren, yes, there was only 4 of us testing it, and it was already very excessive on the emails, and we were just posting a couple of times a week. And it just, if somebody just puts a 1-sentence response in there, you get an email for it. So it was a little excessive, but it is an opportunity for us to share more ideas as a group. So that's why we wanted to talk about it. That's an option. Anyone in the chat said, would a digest email be possible? Yeah, I can take that back to the group and see. Because the idea is we don't want to burden you all with extra emails through that other forum. But any other topics or suggestions? Anything that you all think we might need to add that you would find helpful? How-to videos, how-to documents.
I would recommend adding a tools section for faculty. So we can actually, if we come across of a tool that it's really interesting to use for the class or for any type of work, we can just share it with the others. And it should say that the tool should say open source or paid tool, if it's possible. Otherwise, it just listed, the person will go check out the tool and.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So I have some more notes, so we'll take that back to the group. I think we meet in a couple of weeks. This is all great information. If you want to send me something offline, you can. My email sent out with, I think Andrea sent that out, but you can either get me at the faculty training at ottawa.edu listed in that section, or my email is in the chat. And trying to think if there's anything else that we were talking about.
So for us to submit information to be added, you said we should reach out to you, and who else do we need to reach out? Is there a button on the side that it says?
No, it's just that email. Let me go back over there real quick. So if you have suggestions right here for this area, please email us at that. So basically that runs it back to myself. If I were to ever switch roles or something were to happen, that email would wind up getting forwarded to someone else. So we keep track of who has access to that. Right now it's me, but if you want anything there, then you can send it to that. You could also send it probably to Andrea Cook or your faculty mentor, because all the faculty mentors should have a hand in developing this section and that. So it'll get back to where it needs to be. But the safest bet is that faculty training at Ottawa.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I do not have anything else. I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time out to go through this section. As you utilize it or don't utilize it or need something, please just let us know. Very amenable to whatever our faculty need to be successful in the classroom. So please don't hesitate if you need something to let us know. All right.
Thank you, George.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate everyone's time. I hope you have a great Saturday. If you need anything, just let us know.
Thank you, George.
Thanks, Bob. Take care, everyone.